tested Inferno, and we got it to the point where they thought it was challenging enough, and then we doubled it.
From early on in its conception, Diablo 3 has been a game of extremes, and we have now reached the end of that journey from one extreme to the other. Every aspect of this game has experienced this transition, from the initial promises of this grandiose arena-based PvP mode to no PvP at all, and everything else from drop rates and trading to the challenge that this game once offered. For lack of a better term, the dumbing down of Diablo 3 is now complete. While I still enjoy Diablo 3 and the franchise, it is no longer something that holds the majority of players' interest for long periods, and these periods seem to become shorter and shorter as time passes. At launch, Diablo 3 was a captivating game with numerous challenges. Difficulties were immensely harder than the previous setting, and nothing in this game was handed to you, including the ability to progress through the game. And while Inferno was absolutely insanely hard, what most people failed to grasp was that you were not meant to instantly progress into Inferno. You were meant to gear yourself into it. Jumping right into Inferno and getting your ass kicked instantly was hard to swallow, and harder for some people to accept. But after all, this was an ARPG, a loot-based game, a game about gearing your character to be able to handle new challenges. That aspect of action role-playing games seems to be lost on many. And now you are able to gear for and speed farm Torment 13 within a couple of days, sometimes even faster. When Diablo 3 was released, the level cap was 60, and today, with the Paragon system, there is effectively no level cap. Legendaries dropped so infrequently that there was a great feeling of awe and hope when one finally did drop. Now, the majority of legendary and set item drops merely lead to disappointment due to the sheer amount of legendaries that do drop. The other aspect of the lower drop rates, mixed with the lack of today's massive skill buffs on legendary and set items, also meant that your builds always contained rare yellow gear, giving even those yellows a chance at being useful to you or to someone else. Now you are absolutely constrained in your gear choices, since you need very specific legendary items to complete builds, essentially making all blue and yellow gear drops simply arcane dust and veiled crystals after level 70. With this combination of the Paragon system and the massive drop rate increase, the core game of Diablo 3 has changed. Though drops and gear do matter, this game has become more about leveling than gearing. Time played holds just as much influence on your progression as loot does, if not more so, especially since gearing out a build can usually be done, at least for the basics, within one day. Another extreme turnaround that this game has gone through is trading. Diablo 3 at launch had an auction house, including the real money auction house, which we'd prefer not to mention whatsoever, but it did have an auction house and a complete trading system, including the trading of crafted gear. Does anybody remember the days of farming for a specific recipe? And now, the only trading allowed in the game is between party members at the time the loot drops. What people don't seem to realize is that not only is trading an essential part of most ARPGs, but the lack of trading further perpetuates the fact that time played becomes the most impactful attribute of this game. The more you play, the more you have that chance to compete, simply because the drop rates allow for faster chance of upgrades the more you play. And the Paragon system is designed to benefit those who play, or in some cases, bot, the most. While I personally was okay with the removal of the auction houses, I personally would still prefer trading in this game, and I'm sure this will be a topic that we will discuss again. Now in Season 1, the top Greater Rift clear for the 4-man group setup was GR 59. And this current season, Season 12, Patch 2.6.1, we are closing in on a GR 140 clear. That is an extreme difference of 80 GRs, spurred not by additional content, but by the gradual increase in the power of legendaries, set items, and the addition of Kanai's Cube to the game. Now, I am not one who is completely against power creep in games, but when you break it down to those numbers, that is an absolutely insane amount of damage increase brought to this game. And now at this point in time, Diablo 3 is a game that has officially gone from one extreme to the other. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. I greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, I definitely want to hear those comments below. I want your input in this discussion. Do you think that we've gone too far the other direction? I personally think Inferno was way too hard for the average player, but I think we've come to a point where we've gone the other extreme, and we've made this game really, really easy, with the exception of pushing forward into GRs, which is pretty much the same content. But let me know down below your thoughts on this matter. Guys and gals, thank you so very much once again for checking out this video. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you guys have a great day. Peace.